Good morning. Welcome to Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace. We are Unitarian Universalists. Ours is a historic faith with a progressive theology grounded in love, a love which calls us to see the holy in each being and to take compassionate action in our world. In this space, we gather with open minds, open hearts, and open hands to practice acceptance, forgiveness, and growth, welcoming people of all nations, all creeds, all ages, all genders, all cultures, and all kinds of love. Whether you're here every week, came today for the first time, or stop in just once in a while, we celebrate all of who you are and all that you are becoming. You are welcome here.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Lucy Humphrey, this morning's worship coordinator. Harry Kelso and I are joined by Eve Loria and Hyungju Jung in leading worship today. We couldn't do this without our tech team, greeters, ushers, and coffee hour hosts. Thank you, friends. A warm welcome this morning to our guest preacher. Harry Kelso has been a member of Arlington Street Church for the past several years, currently serving on the Prudential Committee and the Worship Committee. He grew up occasionally attending Unitarian Universalist services, but came back to the church while living in New York City and attending All Souls. Harry currently lives in Cambridge, where he works in clean energy and is from the South Shore of Massachusetts. We're so delighted to hear from you. If you're new to Arlington Street, welcome. We are so glad you're here, and we would love to stay connected. I hope you will visit our website at arlingtonstreet.org and sign up for our weekly e-newsletter. If you are in the sanctuary, you can fill out the pew card and put it in the basket during the offering time to let us know how to be in touch with you. And Zoomers, you can find a link in the chat to a form to fill out to help us stay in touch. If you'd like more Arlington Street in your week, please go to arlingtonstreet.org. There are weekly gatherings in the Zoom room for loving kindness meditation, poetry, yoga, as well as community tea every Wednesday at 5 p.m. All are welcome. Next Sunday's preacher is Rich Abreu, longtime Arlington Street member and a devoted member of our tech team. Hi, Rich. Rich will be joined by Art Nava, Hannah Shanefield, and Hyungju Jung in leading worship. We hope you'll join us for another wonderful service next week. If you came this morning with a joy or concern in your heart, you are invited to light a candle at home or share in the chat, or come up and light a silent candle at the table to the right of the Gleason podium at any time during the service. It is a hot summer here in Boston, and those of us in person are experiencing that we do not have air conditioning. There is water in the back. Please help yourself at any time during the service. And if at any time you need help, our ushers are here to support you. Let's do all that we can to take care of one another. After the service, everyone is invited to join in virtual coffee hour by joining the Zoom stream during the Postlude. And now, Rich is going to turn the camera on the in-person congregation as we wave and smile at each other, as well as at our friends in the Zoom room, and you all in the Zoom room can wave and smile back. Hello, friends near and far. Let's all engage that Arlington Street spirit of welcome that transcends physical distance as we greet one another heart to heart. Whether you've been coming here for years or today is your first time at Arlington Street, welcome home. And now, please join in saying the Affirmation Covenant of this beloved spiritual community. The words are printed in your order of service and in the chat. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service is our gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to speak our truths in love, and to help one another.
We light our chalice this morning to the insightful words of Goy Nasu. All the water in the world cannot sink a ship unless it gets inside the ship. All the negativity in the world cannot sink a person unless it gets inside the mind.
Morning. Our first hymn today is hymn number 1007 in the teal hymnal, There's a River Flowing in My Soul. The lyrics are in the order of service and in the chat, so please rise in spirit or in body, or both, and sing There's a River Flowing in My Soul.
Thank you, Eve. Thank you, Young Jew. A reading from As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. The dreamers are the saviors of the world. As the visible world is sustained by the invisible, so men, through all their trials and sins and sordid vocations, are nourished by the beautiful visions of their solitary dreamers. Humanity cannot forget its dreamers. It cannot let their ideals fade and die. It lives in them. It knows them as the realities which it shall one day see and know. He who cherishes a beautiful vision, a lofty ideal in his heart, will one day realize it. Cherish your visions, cherish your ideals, cherish the music that stirs in your heart, the beauty that forms in your mind, the loveliness that drapes your purest thoughts, for out of them will grow all delightful conditions, all heavenly environment. Of these, if you but remain true to them, your world will at last be built. To desire is to obtain, to aspire is to achieve. Dream lofty dreams, and as you dream, so shall you become. Your vision is the promise of what you shall one day be. Your ideal is the prophecy of what you shall at last unveil. The greatest achievement was at first, and for a time, a dream. The oak sleeps in the acorn, the bird waits in the egg, and the highest vision of the soul, a waking angel stirs. Dreams are the seedlings of realities. Here ends the reading.
Our second hymn today is number 1053 in the teal hymnal. And this one is called How Could Anyone? And it's a little less familiar, so Hyungju is going to play it through once, and then we will sing it twice. It's just one verse, so we'll do it twice. The lyrics are in your order of service and in the chat, so please rise in body and in spirit, and we'll sing number 1053. Hyungju will play it once.
Lovely. In 1997, at the Karolinska Institute in Stockholm, Sweden, Professor Hans Rosling began teaching a course on global health and development to undergraduate students. He wanted to get a baseline knowledge for what his top-ranked students knew at the outset of the course. Over the years, he asked a number of questions to gauge their knowledge, and I'll ask 3 of them here to you now. So I want you to just think about what you believe the correct answer is in your head. Question 1. How many of the world's 1-year-old children today have been vaccinated against some disease, such as measles? Is it 25%, 55%, or 85%? Have your guess? The answer is 85%. Yeah. Question 2. Over the last 20 years, what has happened to the proportion of the world population living in extreme poverty? Has it almost doubled, remained the same, or been cut in half? The answer? It's more than cut in half. Question 3. In all low-income countries across the world today, how many girls finish primary school? Is it 25%, 45%, or 65%? The answer is 65%. So how did you do? Because over time, Hans noticed that his students not only got each question wrong, they were shockingly wrong across the board. In many cases, only 7% of those he asked chose the right answer. That means his students performed even worse than random selection, and he proved it. He asked those same questions to chimpanzees, who voted by choosing a banana with the corresponding answers. Each and every time, the chimpanzees performed better than the most well-educated young adults at one of Sweden's top universities. Hans then began asking these questions to the Swedish public, the US public, world leaders, even media outlets covering these exact topics. Still, no group got even close to answering correctly. He summarized his findings by saying, "Everyone seems to get the world devastatingly wrong. Not only devastatingly wrong, but systematically wrong." In each case, people likely chose the most pessimistic answer, the one attached to very old worldviews or confirming a belief that the world is generally getting worse. And who can blame us? If you read or watch the news every day, you'd think war is widespread, people are commonly violent, and that humanity as a whole is regressing. But I have a theory about this. A news event, by its very nature, is something that is not normal. So the homicide in that neighborhood or the disease outbreak in that country is only making the news because it is not an everyday occurrence. But what we do as humans, especially educated humans, is falsely equate news with reality. That's why so many of us are still nervous that our planes will crash. I'm certainly guilty of this. Even when the data tells us that driving to the airport is more dangerous than flying in the plane. We have to remember that the counterintuitive notion is true. Everyday acts of genuine kindness and general improvement are the norm, not the outlier. And these mindsets have real-world outcomes. In the late 1960s, psychologist Martin Seligman set out on a series of experiments that would change the entire field of psychology. Seligman worked with dogs in a carefully controlled setting. One group learned that they could stop a mild electric shock by taking a specific action. They discovered that what they did made a difference. A second group experienced the very same shocks, but this time, nothing they did could stop them. No matter how hard they tried, they had no control over the outcome. Then the experiment changed. Every dog was placed in a new enclosure. This time, escape was easy. A low barrier separated the dogs from a safe area. One small jump, and they would be free. The dogs that had learned their actions mattered quickly jumped to safety. But many of the dogs that had learned they had no control didn't even try. They laid down and endured the shocks, even though freedom was right in front of them. They had not lost the strength to jump. They had lost something far more powerful. They had lost the belief that jumping would matter. Seligman called this learned helplessness. It became one of the most influential ideas in psychology because it revealed a profound truth about the human mind. Our lives are shaped not only by what happens to us, but by the meaning we make of what happens to us. After enough disappointments, failures, and fears, it's all too easy to begin telling ourselves a certain negative story. I've certainly felt this way, most recently with career hurdles and a heartbreak dragged out for years. But I believe it's also one of the great truths about being human. We all live by stories. The question isn't whether we're telling ourselves one. The question is whether it's a story that leaves us stuck where we are or one that gives us the courage to jump. Professor Rosling argued that if people believe that nothing ever gets better, then nothing actually will. Because changing our worldview changes the world. When I gave my summer sermon here last year, I lifted a quote from President Obama's 2004 Democratic National Convention speech. He spoke right here in Boston that year, and I'm going to lift a different passage from that same keynote address again, but only because it's one of the greatest speeches of all time. He said, "I'm not talking about blind optimism here. The almost willful ignorance that thinks unemployment will go away if we just don't think about it, or the healthcare crisis will solve itself if we just ignore it. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about something more substantial. It's the hope of slaves sitting around a fire singing freedom songs. The hope of immigrants setting out for distant shores. The hope of a young naval lieutenant bravely patrolling the Mekong Delta. The hope of a mill worker's son who dares to defy the odds. The hope of a skinny kid with a funny name who believes that America has a place for him too." Barack is certainly a brilliant messenger of hope. But in many ways, I believe agency is the more powerful force at play here. We always have the agency to rewrite our stories, to imagine new possibilities that are not yet real, but contain the seeds of our success. Because the stories we tell ourselves truly impact the world around us. It reminds me of what Reverend Small told us last week through the brilliant wisdom of psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl. Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. One of the more widespread ways in which I see people fall victim to learned helplessness is with climate change. We all know the dire warning. If humanity doesn't curb greenhouse gas emissions, then humanity itself could cease to exist. I hear it expressed by people who constantly read the news and friends of mine who use it as a justification to not have children or lose hope in any idea of a prosperous future. But you know where these doom and gloom feelings are minimal? In the people actually building new solutions. I see it every day in my work in clean energy, because our industry knows that over 90% of new power generation last year in the United States came from renewable sources. And in the European Union, wind and solar generated more electricity than fossil fuels for the first time ever in 2025. We still have a long way to go, but we're making real progress. My own doubts and worries have morphed into excitement and optimism about the potential of geothermal and fusion energy, sources that can make a dramatic impact on global decarbonization if new technology makes them more powerful and affordable than fossil fuels. In the end, the old saying rings true. Whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. It's a lesson we can even take with us here to church. Our congregation is going through profound changes right now. We're welcoming a fantastic new transitional minister and laying the groundwork for a more permanent, settled minister to follow. But if some of us are mired in thoughts that our best days are behind us, then we will succumb to such a tragedy. The real power we hold is in telling ourselves that our best days are yet to come. Because if we imagine a better future, then the next step is the courage to go build it. If we want to live better lives in a better world, then we have to tell ourselves better stories. Every now and then, I think back to one of my high school music teachers who spoke to a group of us students right before our graduation. He had everyone do this little interactive exercise that I'm going to ask you all here in the sanctuary and on Zoom to join me in doing now if you are so willing and able. Okay, raise your hand as high as you can. Like really get it up there. Is it as high as it can go? Great. Now raise it just a little bit higher. I see those extensions there. See, that's the difference between what we think we can achieve and what we truly can. If we tell ourselves to reach higher, then we actually will. Amen.
We join now in our ritual of sharing community candles of sorrow and joy. In addition to sharing our sorrows and joys this morning, let's reach out to one another in the week ahead, staying connected. May these times remind us of how very precious this beloved community is. We need one another. Whether together or apart, may we stay very close. We'll begin by singing "There Is a Love." The words are printed in your order of service and in the chat.
We join in sharing our burdens and our blessings, offering the prayers of our community, offering the prayers of our hearts to the care of this community. We hear and hold one another's yearnings and celebrations in the depth of our hearts.
A mixed candle from Claire Humphrey. Please offer a prayer or blessing for quick and comfortable healing for Miss Bernice, the lady who takes care of Heal the Hood, a local food pantry in Jamaica Plain. She has had an injury that will keep her out for a few weeks, but thankfully will return after that with her warm hugs each week when I come by. And a final candle of joy from me and Harry. A candle of joy for our hometown Boston Red Sox, who just capped another nearly double-digit winning streak. Their whole season has turned around, going from one of the poorest performing teams in baseball this year to now one of the top playoff prospects. Sounds like they told themselves a better story.
That's right. For all the sorrows and all the joys we hold in our hearts, we light a silent candle to remember and to rejoice. May the peace of this sanctuary enter into our hearts as we share a quiet moment together, breathing our prayers for ourselves, for one another, for our country, for all nations and all beings. Amen.
There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that in this month.
Thank you. Arlington Street is entirely self-sustaining. It's up to us. Generosity is a key spiritual practice here, and it shows. Your contributions help our services, our justice work, and our spiritual home thrive. I love the summers at Arlington Street, despite the heat here, because with each guest preacher, I get to learn a little more about someone in our community, who they are, what they value, and what brought them here. The stories they tell bring us closer together as a congregation, and we get to share in and learn from the knowledge and experiences they have. It is a wonderful thing to have these connections. Please take a moment now to join me in giving to sustain our beloved Arlington Street. Instructions for giving can be found in your order of service and in the Zoom chat.
Unwritten, can't read my mind, I'm undefined. I'm just beginning, the pen's in my hand, ending unplanned. Staring at the blank page before you, open up the dirty window, let the sun illuminate the words that you could not find. Reaching for something in the distance, so close you can almost taste it. Release your inhibitions, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Drench yourself in words unspoken, live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins, the rest is still unwritten. I break tradition, sometimes my tries are outside the lines. We've been conditioned to not make mistakes, but I can't live that way. Staring at the blank page before you, open up a dirty window, let the sun illuminate the words that you could not write. Teaching for something in the distance, so close you can almost taste it. Release your inhibitions, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Drench yourself in words unspoken, live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins, the rest is still unwritten. Staring at the blank page before you, open up a dirty window, let the sun illuminate the words that you could not write. Reaching for something in the distance, so close you can almost taste it. Release your inhibitions, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Drench yourself in words unspoken, live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins, the rest is still unwritten. The rest is still unwritten. The rest is still unwritten. All right, final hymn. Our last hymn today is Life Calls Us On. So this is one that's pretty familiar. It is in the order of service and in the chat. And we're going to rise in body, rise in spirit for this. And when it's done, please stay standing for the benediction. So please rise and sing Life Calls Us On. Here in reverence now we gather for the blessings we have known, with a pledge to one another that we journey not alone. Joy and sorrow make us wise, kin to all that lives and dies. Love calls us on. Love calls us on. Words and deeds of those before us waken here to keep us strong. Blend our voices in the chorus of creation's living song. Courage bids us lift our eyes upward to the shining skies. Hope calls us on. Hope calls us on. Loyal guides in love and duty, lead us with a trusted light. Blessed are they whose inward beauty shows the path of truth and right. Honor is their earthly prize. By their work we realize faith calls us on. Faith calls us on. We have shared a radiant hour when the truth has made us free, and the Spirit's gracious power dreamed of good that yet shall be. Bright the path before us lies. Joyful pilgrims now we rise. Life calls us on. Life calls us on. Life calls us on. Life calls us on. One more time. Life calls us on. Life calls us on.
Give it up for Eve and Young Ju. What a fantastic duo. Beautiful. Also want to give a shout out today to Lucy, our worship coordinator, for pulling triple duty recently. Not only did Lucy give their sermon 2 weeks ago, but they're also the worship coordinator last week and today. So Lucy's going above and beyond. Thank you, Lucy. All right, as we begin our benediction, I invite those of you in the Zoom room to please reach out your hands and touch the sides of your square. And those of you in the sanctuary to raise your hands, palms out. Let's send loving kindness to the people to your left and to your right. Send loving kindness to the person on either side of you and to the people on either side of them. Send out love into this beloved spiritual community and feel it coming back to you. As you feel it coming back, bring your hands back to your heart center to carry the love that is the spirit of this congregation with you wherever you go. While venturing forth into new chapters, remember that you hold the pen and possess this most powerful of human abilities to redefine what is possible by rewriting your own story, our story, and the collective story of civilization. It's only ever as far as your own fingertips. Love is the spirit of this congregation. May love hold us all until we meet again. Let us keep this faith, beloveds, and pass it on. The service begins when the service ends. Amen.
Go, beloved, where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. You're divine, my divine.
We are located at the corner of Arlington and Boylston Streets, across from the Public Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace.